Hi, today I'm going to show you how to set up a simple Meta Ads campaign to generate leads for your business. So first we'd need to go onto Meta Business Suite. So let me go ahead and do that. And then we'd need to go to All Tools and select the Adverts Manager. And then we'd need to set up a new campaign. So I'm just gonna hit on create and would want to select the goal of the campaign to be leads, since that's what we would want to get. And then we're gonna hit continue. And we're gonna go for the manual setup here to have a little bit more control over all the settings inside of the campaign. So I'm just gonna hit continue. And here for the bidding type, I'll just leave it as auction. Then the campaign objective we will leave as leads, and would also need to come up with a name for our campaign. So let's say that's a lead gen campaign. Okay, and so I tend to leave the Advantage campaign budget on, and here you could choose a daily budget. I would recommend, if it's a lead gen, to start at least with $15 to $20 a day, but honestly it just depends on your business. But let's say for start, we could start with $20 a day to just test things, to test creatives and all that. And it's important if your business falls under any of the special ad categories, so it could be employment, housing, social issues, or financial products, you'd need to declare it here. If not, we could just continue. And now we are on the ad set level. So here I would just go ahead and name my ad set something like I don't know, creative test number 1. And then you'd need to choose where do you want to send the traffic. So in my case, I would usually go for the website to send the prospects to a dedicated landing page. And so that's what I'm gonna go with this time. And then the performance goal, I tend to leave it as is. And then you'd also need to connect Pixel so it could report conversions back to Meta. I have another video where I covered how to install Pixel onto the Shopify store. If you are using a different platform, I would say that the Pixel setup is going to be pretty similar to Shopify. So you could look up this video, or you could just go on YouTube and type in the name of the website builder that you use. Let's say if it's Wix, you could just type in how to set up Pixel on Wix, and it's gonna give you lots of videos on that topic. And for the dynamic creative, I just keep it off for now, and then budget and schedule. So here we have budget on the campaign level, so it's just gonna be $20 a day, and Meta will automatically distribute this budget to the best performing ad sets. So that's gonna be one more thing that you would not need to worry about. And the start date, you could choose any start date that suits you. For example, we could just start it as is, like at this time, just leave it as is. Now we can move on to the audience control, and the first thing is going to be location. So here we could select where we want our ads, in which countries or regions we want our ads to show up. If it's a lead gen, and let's say if you have a local business, then you would want to go in here and type in, let's say, the city that you operate in. So for example, let's say this is going to be Toronto, so I would just select the city, and here you could also select the radius. So let's say that's going to be Toronto plus 40 kilometers, or you could make it as, let's say, 80 kilometers. And now we can move on to the Advantage Plus audience, and you could add audience suggestions. That's what I would usually do myself, especially if it's a new ad account. If you don't have any pixel data, any conversion data in this Meta ad account, I would usually go with suggestions. And so basically it's going to tell Meta, it's going to give Meta some directions about the people that you actually want to target, but those are not going to be hard restrictions for Meta. So if Meta thinks that it could find better leads for you outside of your targeting suggestions, it's gonna go beyond that, and it's just gonna look for the best customers or for the best quality leads for you. And here you could select the age range. So for example, let's say you target males that are from, let's say, 24 and up until 60 years old, and then the genders would select male here, so it's going to be men. And then demographics, let's say you want to target plumbers, so you just simply go and type in here plumbers, and then it's going to give you some of the suggestions. Let's go with plumber, and here we can see that it's going to say demographics, work, as it says here, work, job titles, plumber, and we could select that, and then we could choose other, we could add other demographics, interests, or behaviors. So let's go with plumbers again, and we can see here that there are suggestions, let's say plumbing contractor or plumbing assistant, and it's going to go ahead and try to find you those leads that match the demographics, interests, and behaviors that you've suggested. But once again, if it thinks that it could get you a better performance going outside of those demographics, interests, or behaviors, it will do that. So it will just go beyond that to get you the best performance. And then for placements, I'd usually just leave it as advantage placements for Meta to automatically just put my ads in the most, I guess, cost-efficient placements. And we can move on to the ad level. So I'm just gonna hit next here, and then you could just name your ads. Let's say that's gonna be your first ad, which is going to say ad number 1 in this ad set here, and this ad set is gonna be inside of the lead gen campaign here. And then you'd need to have your pages connected to your Meta Business Suite. So that's gonna be the Facebook page and the Instagram page. If you have multiple pages, you could choose them here from the drop down. And then for the ad setup, I would just go with the manual upload. For the format, I would just keep it simple just for now for the first ads. So that's gonna be single image or video. And then multi-advertiser ads, I tend to just keep it off. And then we can move on to the destination. So here you'd need to paste the link to your landing page. So once people click on your ad, so it would send them to your landing page for them to, let's say, fill out the lead form. Let's say it's going to be my website. So we're just going to send them to, okay. And then the display link, that's just the link that's going to show up in the ad itself. So for example, if I want to send people here to my lead gen page, right? So let's say that's going to be called lead gen, right? Here, just to keep it clean and simple, the display link is going to be just the URL of my website. And the browser add-ons, I would just keep them as none, just to keep it simple for now. And here we can move on to the ad creative. So that's going to be the ad itself. So that being the image ad that you've made or the video ad. And we could click on the setup creative, and then here we'd need to choose either it's going to be a video ad or the image ad. Just for an example, I'm going to choose image ad, and here we could just go to media. Let's say that's going to be my ad, just for an example. And here I'm just going to click next, and it's going to just preview how the ad itself is going to look on different screen sizes and different placements. So here I usually tend to keep it all as original, and I can click next, and here you'd need to add the copy, so that being the headline and the primary text. Basically you could just read what it says here, so you could just hover your mouse over the like this eye icon here, and it's just going to give you a hint of what it should be here. So that's going to be for the headline, and the same thing going to be for the primary text. After you are done with it, you'd need to choose the call to action. And for the lead gen, the call to actions that I personally usually use is going to be either it's going to be learn more, or it could be, let's say, request time or get quote, or get offer, or if it's a lead magnet, it could be download. Basically, just choose something that just makes sense. You don't have to overthink it. Just choose something that makes the most sense to you and to your offer or to your service. And also, I usually tend to just leave the description empty, and then you could hit on next, and basically it could offer you some of the AI enhancements, and you could play around with them. If you want to go a safe route, might be a good idea to turn some of them off, especially if they don't really make sense to you. So I'd usually, let's say if it's music, I would actually go and change music and select something that is going to be more on brand and something that's going to make sense for the ad and for the whole concept of the ad. Text improvements, I usually tend to keep them on. Then visual touch-ups, I would usually keep them on, as well as ad overlays. And here those are like experimental new AI features. So with those ones, it's up to you. I would honestly, just to be safe, I would just keep them off. And then you could hit on done. And after here, like the last thing is the tracking, but you should have it done by now if you've watched the video on how to set up the Facebook pixel or the Meta pixel. And the URL parameters, it is a little bit more advanced, but you could also look up tutorials on those URL parameters. In short, they are useful to see where the traffic is coming from, let's say in Google Analytics or in your CRM system, to see where the leads are coming from. Let's say if you are running Google Ads as well as Meta Ads, you could add the specific parameters here to differentiate those leads. And now we're basically ready to go. The only thing that we have left is just to hit publish, and after you do that, it's gonna go into processing, and maybe it's gonna take like, I don't know, 30 minutes or maybe an hour, and then you'll get a notification that your ad was published. And yeah, congrats, you've just set up your first lead gen campaign on Meta Ads. Thank you for watching my video, and yeah.